Okay, skip the intro because you guys got to see this. I never thought I'd see the day. Check this out. MOZA Racing coming out with a brand new joystick base for their MOZA flight ecosystem. Speaking of that, check this out. They got a whole line of products coming out. They got a throttle coming, a joystick, a base, and rudder pedals. Bro, that's crazy. I never saw this coming. MOZA is known for racing. I've loved their racing products, but I did not expect them to come and join the flight community. But anyways, this one here, which seems to be special, we'll test it out obviously, but it's 9 Newton meters of force feedback. That's crazy. Let's get the thing out of the box because I don't even know what that means. How does that even work? So let's pop this thing open and see what we got. Okay, wow. Okay, check this out. Look in there. All right, so we got the MOZA. This is the famous MOZA bag, but here is the bait. Can I just pick it up? I'm scared to pick it up right here. Oh my God, it's heavy. Oh, it's huge too. Wow, you hear that? That's gotta be 30 pounds, 20, 30 pounds. That is heavy. All right, also in the box, we have obviously the cords and the wires that are needed. So we'll take a closer look at that as I'm setting it up. But that is everything in the box. So we'll put that back there and check it out here. So we get us a nice drawstring bag to protect it. And look at this thing. Look at this thing. This thing is huge, man. Oh my God. And it's heavy. Like I said, it's very heavy. And force feedback joystick, guys. Fully force feedback joystick. It had to be MOZA to do it. This is crazy. So, oh man. So, all right, so here is where the joystick would go. So again, they didn't supply me a joystick, so I'll be using my current joystick, which will be the F18 joystick from Thrustmaster. Because when you first look at this, you're like, all right, cool, wow, a box, right? A metal box, or I should say aluminum box. Okay, here's the connections on the bottom. So on the bottom, we have device 1, 2, 3, 4, and a DC input, a power button, and a regular USB cable. So nothing on the bottom except for these pads here. And there's a few mounting plates, which I'm really hoping work with my current setup. I'm very actually worried about that. So that's that. Anyways, I do have a Thrustmaster F18 Hornet stick here just for testing. Again, obviously, as you saw in the box, MOZA has their own joystick coming as well. But until then, I'll be using this for testing. And so anyways, it has the same connection here as the MOZA. So we'll go ahead and hook this up and see how easy that is. So we just put it on there and spin it like that. All right, and you can actually notice it as I kind of move it, it kind of falls either way to the side, which might not be a bad thing. Once we get this thing plugged in and powered on, it'll probably center it for us. Again, we'll obviously see what to test that out, but just right now with zero feedback and really nothing, giving us any forces to keep it from falling in the middle, there is zero dead zone on this thing. No dead zone at all. And this is actually something I've been complaining about lately, is that, but I mean, just this, if this was the joystick, I mean, I would obviously probably need a way to have it to sit upright, right? But outside of that, it's very, I mean, there's so much play here. There's so much play here, right? And you can tell it's actually 4 corners in there. I can go full left, full back, full forward left, full rear back, all that. And in the middle is just like, I mean, look at this. I can just, so yeah, anyways, let's see if we can get this thing hooked up and see how it feels. I've never personally used a force feedback yoke or joystick or anything of that matter. Something I've been asking for and wanting for a good force feedback flight control system. So hopefully MOZA can deliver that. Let's see. I have high hopes, I have high expectations for MOZA as a previous customer of their racing gear. So let's get to it. So also in the box, you obviously have your power cord, your massive power supply here, and then you have your USB cable. That's all the cords that come with it. That's all you need for this base. So the way I had my joystick mounted before was in the center, mainly for combat simming, but I have this center post here with the grooves in it that allows you to mount various joysticks and controls on top of it, and that sits right between my legs on my Next Level Racing flight simulator chair. And that's one of my biggest concerns for my particular setup was, will this fit on that? And I have good news, it does. So let's go ahead and grab our base. Again, it is fairly heavy, but I'm gonna flip it over a bit, not all the way over, because it's not flush on the other end, but there's a decent amount of give there. Because you have these holes here on the bottom for various mounting applications. Now, this thing is honestly probably heavy enough that you could just sit it on top of something and it wouldn't move. So depending on your setup, obviously, you may need to do something different. So it does come with a few screws and a wrench, as you can see here. But in my particular case, that's not gonna work for me. So this here is the bottom of the A10 Warthog joystick base for the A10 Warthog and the F18 from Thrustmaster. And so on the bottom of that, you usually have this big massive plate. And on the bottom there, you have 4 screws right here. Now you don't usually see these wires because that big plate is covering it, but if you take those 4 screws out, you can mount that right onto your next level center plate. And so I'm gonna take those exact same 4 screws and hook them up to the MOZA base because it has the exact same pattern there, which is good. All right, and that was one of my biggest worries, was how am I gonna mount this large thing? So thankfully, it does work with the Next Level. So if you do have the Next Level Racing Boeing chair, any of the Next Level Racing flight sim chairs, it should work just fine. Just make sure that you have the correct screws. All right, so I have it mounted onto my Next Level Racing flight sim chair. As you can see, it's just kind of like hanging around. I'm gonna go ahead and press the power button in the back, and I can hear it booting up. You can see now, there it is, it's moving on its own. So now that it's powered on, you can see it's actually recentered itself. And when I try to move the joystick around, it's still very smooth from what I can see. But when I push it forward or pull it back, there is definitely a force pushing against me or pulling against me. So we'll see how that feels in the actual simulator, but it is at least working that way. All right, we are in DCS World in the F-18 Hornet on the Sinai map, and as I put my hands on the joystick, I am feeling just a very subtle vibration as of right now. And as I roll to either side, we'll do a right turn, a right aileron roll there, I am feeling the flight controls just a little bit there, mainly the feeling of kind of like the wind going over the wings, either left or either right. It's a really good feeling, like kind of joystick. I mean, I know the joystick itself is Thrustmaster, but the base obviously is what's creating the force, and you can make it feel as heavy or as light as you want, which is pretty neat, right? I can pull up, and I gotta actually put, like, I'm actually using my muscle. Usually just like, moving around, you know, with the finger here or there, just a little bit. Again, there is no dead zone, so I can really be very fine and tuned how I make my adjustments, very precise. But I think this force feedback joystick is going to be really good for muscle memory specifically, right? Like, obviously we're not flying the real jet, so we don't get the actual G's that we're pulling. But as I pull back here, the joystick is kind of pulling back at me as I'm pulling G's. Now, it's not vibrating violently. It's not that type of feedback, that type of vibration. But I am getting some sort of kind of force pulling against me as I pull in these high G turns. And that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Now, if I go into the software, which I'll show you here in just a second, but if I change the overall strength to 0, look at this. Now, it's just, wherever I push it, you know what I mean? Like, it's just hanging around. It's kind of awkward and weird looking. And so this is a setting though. In the software, you can actually set it if you wanted your joystick to be this loose. Now, this makes more sense if you're flying a helicopter. We'll try that as well. But I'm gonna go ahead and tighten that back up and go up to about 70% or so, which I found to be not too bad. So now you can see it's automatically wanting to center itself. So if I pull to right, let go, it just recenters. There's no bouncing, nothing like that. So honestly, if you go beyond just the vibrations and things like that, as a joystick platform, it's actually really nice and very firm as well. And you can really customize it to how you want your joystick experience to be. So there we go. Turn it back towards the city. Go ahead and level off there. Like, that's good. And again, it just centers itself up just like that, which is pretty nice. So the force feedback is keeping it centered for me. So when I pull back and let go, it recenters itself. Push forward, let go, it recenters itself. Now, if you don't want that, as I said, you can turn off the strength push it forward and just stays forward. But that's up to you. Watch how I turn it back up to 100% and just sticks back up, and that's just me changing it in the software. Now if you want it to be really heavy, you can put the overall force feedback strength of it to 100%, and now you really got to push. Like you probably can't tell this from the video, but I'm really putting a lot of effort and force trying to get the aircraft to turn left and right. Now it depends again how you want that to feel, and MOZA usually has presets as well for users to use, to allow them to kind of have like a preset for maybe this aircraft or for this game or whichever it may be. So right now, again, 100% force feedback, 9 Newton meters of torque pulling back against me right now. Maybe not the whole 9. It feels more like, I don't know, 6 or 7 or so. Doesn't quite feel like 9 Newton meters of torque. But again, I do want to make a huge disclaimer as we drop down low here and do some low flying with it, that this is a test product that MOZA sent me. This is not done. I believe that the build of it is pretty good, but the actual software is still being worked on, and they're working on getting all of the telemetry data coming from the simulator. That includes DCS World, Microsoft Flight Sim, Star Citizen, etc., War Thunder, IL-2. All that stuff, they're working on getting the actual in-game telemetry. So when you push the gun trigger, this thing should vibrate. You know what I'm saying? When you're on the ground rolling, you should feel that ground roll, which again you'll see in the software. One thing about MOZA, and one thing I'm noticing, hold that thought. As I get faster, oh boy, oh come on. As I get faster, as you guys know, it makes it much more difficult to kind of make those flight controls turn, right? And not only is the aircraft a bit harder to turn, but the joystick itself is definitely tighter. Now, I'm definitely straining here, but it's not hard, right? It's not. I mean, if anyone, a kid could probably make it turn with some muscle. But look at me pushing down, pulling up. So yeah, as you go faster, higher speeds, you definitely have a bit more force. When you slow down, it should get a lot lighter. So we'll slow down, put the speed brakes out here, right above the city. These guys are waking up this morning. Waking up. But yeah, a lot of features are still yet to be implemented. When I say features, I mean like mainly feedback features are still yet to be implemented yet. So I will have to do a later video review. Look how much easier that is to turn now that we are at a bit of a slower speed. But yeah, I'll do a later video. This is not a review. This is more of a first look, a teaser, an unboxing and all that. So we'll come back once the product has matured a little bit, once they kind of figure out some of the kinks, get the telemetry data fully implemented in it, and I can't wait to show you that when they get there. But pretty cool. I mean, this is much smoother than my Warthog base that I'm used to using, with the thing with the dead zone and the kind of rocky center. So for me, this is a massive upgrade. The only one piece of feedback that I'll give MOZA and everyone who's watching is that this base itself is pretty clunky. It's pretty large. I'm hoping that it can fit in most people's setup. If you don't have like a next level racing chair like I do, they'll also have a actual some sort of mount that you can use to mount it maybe on your desk or something like that, which could definitely be super helpful, because I would honestly like this to be sitting a bit lower than what it is right now. So again, just a bit of a teaser here. All the features are not implemented yet. I am aware that if there's anything you notice or you see or you want to request, MOZA definitely will be looking at the comments. So definitely drop your criticisms down there and let them know. Like, don't just trash a product that's in work in progress. Like, help them fix it. And that's what my goal was going to be moving forward. I mean, I'm super thankful that MOZA allowed me to test the product, and my goal moving forward is to give them as much feedback as I possibly can to make this a extremely competitive force feedback joystick in the future. I was going to fly in on this SAM here. I think it's an SA3 off our nose, and we got it locked. There it is, and rifle, or sorry, not rifle, Magnum is the call. There's a drone taking off, check that out. That's sweet. So the beauty of the a force feedback joystick is not only the feedback and the vibrations, but also the diversity, especially if you have a software like what MOZA is creating, where you can create multiple presets and use the same joystick for various uses, right? So we were just in the Hornet, now we're in a helicopter. In a lot of helicopters, you know, you don't actually press a trim switch up or down. You know, you usually just push the actual cyclic itself down, and then you just leave it there, and now it's trim, which is pretty cool. I've never personally had a joystick that allowed me to do that, so this is actually my first time. So we'll go ahead and try to take off here in the Kiowa Warrior and see how it feels. So we'll put a little bit of back pressure here as we take off. And I have customized my joystick via the software to allow me to have a much looser joystick, much looser forces here. Now, let's see if I can get into like a hover or something right here and actually trim it out without using the trim up button. So I'm not touching it, as you can see right here. I'm just gonna put a little bit forward there. Now in a helicopter, you're constantly moving the cyclic here, which is what I'm doing here. But as you can see, that's actually working really well. Man, this is gonna make flying helicopters for me so much easier. Oh my God, this is cool. So, and I'm barely touching it. You can see I'm just touching with my fingers right here. And now again, if you wanted a heavier feeling joystick or cyclic, then you could do that. We're on the Marianas map, by the way. This is sweet. So we can go full speed ahead and get it trimmed out that way. Let's see how this goes. This is so cool. I've never had a joystick that did this. So yeah, I think the software is going to be really powerful with this. MOZA has been known in the racing simulator community for how easy to use the actual, you know, software is to allow you to drive various different types of cars. So like in racing sim, I have a preset for trucking. I press one button and it's the exact same wheel, right? I can change the wheel, but it's the same base. And all I do is press a button, and now it's, you know, 1800 degrees. It spins a certain speed that I want it. And the same thing here with Flight Sim is that you'll be able to have a Kiowa helicopter preset. Maybe you have a different preset for a Huey or an Apache because you know that it feels different. So very nice. Again, I will remind you that this is an early look at the MOZA base, because one thing I am noticing is I am getting slight subtle vibrations, but I feel like I should be feeling a lot more through the actual joystick, which I am currently not. So there it is. So that's besides my rudder pedals, that's pretty darn trimmed right there. Not perfect, but that's pretty darn trimmed. That is very cool. And we'll kind of bring it back in here for a landing back at the airport. But man, this is, for me, this is a game changer, especially for helicopters. But a lot of potential I see here, guys. A lot of potential. Again, please leave your feedback in the comments of this video. MOZA will have their eyes on the comments of this video. So if there's anything that you want featured as a feature with this base, do let them know. I'll be giving my feedback as well as we smack it down. Oh boy. All right. Yep. I still need some practice. But yeah, I see a lot of potential in this base, guys. I really hope MOZA the best on it. I'm going to keep testing it. I'm going to keep sending my feedback back. And as far as the actual physical product is, obviously, I mean, it's MOZA. It's a great build. It's all hard metal and aluminum and all that. It's very heavy. So it mounts straight to my seat. So excited about that. Let's take a quick look at the software, but keep in mind, nothing you see here today is finalized or done or complete. It's all work in progress. Okay, so here is a sneak peek of the MOZA Flight cockpit software. Again, incomplete. I can't say that enough about all this stuff. It's all work in progress, but we'll show you what I can show you. And so here it is. This is my input going on right here. You can also do a calibration if you like, but I'm still using the same settings as I was when I was flying the Kiowa. So as I push it forward, you see it stops there. Same thing as I go around there, which is actually pretty nice. I love that you can visually see that. So if I wanted it to be just completely dead stick, I can go overall strength to 0% and turn off the spring as well. And now if I just tap it to one side, it's just gonna fall. Like, it's literally just, I mean, it's basically off at this point. This is how it feels when it's off. And so if you want it to feel that way, you know, some aircraft are like this, so you may want it to feel that way, so you can do that if you need to do that. Now if I just kind of put it down to the side and I turn my overall strength all the way up and then turn the spring up as well, you'll see joystick spring straight back to the center. There's also a damper, which I think I would probably lower the settings of. Kind of dampens the feedback that you get from the simulator. You also have inertia as well as the friction you can customize. Again, some of these things I don't completely understand what they do yet, so I'm not going to dive too deep into them just yet. But a couple of things here on the telemetry. You have runway vibration that you can feel, stall shaker, turbulence, engine rumble, and again, all of this can be customized to your personal liking. You can also get down to the axis travel. A few options here that you can play with to create curves if you like. There's also the axis force for each of those axes as well. Again, MOZA's always done a really good job on the software, on the flight sim side. So if they can get this dialed in for flight sim, I believe that this base paired with this software will be a game changer. And this software is honestly gonna be the secret sauce. And also in MOZA Flight software, you'll be able to manage your other MOZA Flight hardware and products here, which is pretty nice. So just as easy as you saw me messing around with the base, you have the very similar options for the joystick and everything. Now that I've tried the product, I'm actually still surprised that MOZA has come out with a flight sim product. So definitely want to welcome MOZA to the flight sim community, and same thing to you guys. Welcome them. Please drop your feedback, not only on the video, but also send them your feedback on the product, what you would like to see out of it, because they need to know, they need to understand the heartbeat of the flight sim community. But this is just a start. I'm excited for the joystick, the rudder pedals, all the different hardware they're coming out with. Hopefully maybe they'll make a yoke someday. That's not been confirmed. I'm just, you know, wishful thinking. But anyways, guys, but thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, remember you have 3 choices: give up, give in, and give it all you got. Peace, love, and God bless you. I'll see you guys next time. Next video, I'm out.